Are you having a baby and you work full time? Or do you plan to grow your family in the near future? If you are, stay. And let me tell you my story about working from home full time, being a mom of two. Now my oldest is 4 and my youngest is 1. These are the things that I wish I knew before having a baby as a working parent. Hello, hello, hello. So this is Tea Time with Angie, and I actually have coffee. You see that? I got my mom the same cup. But yeah, okay. So I don't know how long this video is gonna be, but just wanted to come on and tell you a little bit about my experience being a full-time working from home mom, um, with 2 kids, one 4 and another 1. Um, so first things first, um, has it been difficult? Has it been hard? It's been extremely difficult. Um, so just let me paint a picture. I worked for a very big um, bank, um, where I was like a top performer. And I've always respected my career more than anything. And actually, like one of the things why I started dating my husband was because I finally met somebody that understood that my work was as important as he was, right? Um, so that was like a big thing for me. My career has been super important. Career growth has been super important. When I graduated school, I come from an immigrant family, so um, getting a job was super important for me. And getting a good job was very important for me. I graduated 2009, right when the crisis was happening, but I was lucky enough to get 3 offers. And then, I moved around, I think once or twice, once, 3 banks. Yeah, 3 banks. But the first one doesn't really count. I only worked there for like 2, 3 weeks. But anyways, got a better offer. What can you do? So I my career was very important for me. I was a top performer. And then we got pregnant. I got pregnant. And I was super happy. I was, well, I'm gonna do this. This is awesome. Um, but this happened during COVID, right? So my first was born 2020, literally during COVID time. Um, and it was so I was working full time from home, and so my career. I mean, so I just want you to understand that my performance and my output was the same as before, right? If not more. Because I was feeling guilty. I was feeling guilty that I wasn't like I was like, just because I'm a mom, it doesn't mean that my performance is gonna go down. So what's happening is my output was the same, and my performance was exactly the same as before, if not better. But I was also a mom, which I had to care for that newborn baby, right? And so I didn't realize at the time, but it was affecting me emotionally and physically. Like, I never had time to recuperate fully from my first pregnancy, and mentally I was just like exhausted all the time. And I didn't know how to deal with that because I was working from home, and I felt like I had to perform great as an employee, and I had to perform great as a mother, right? So those were my two biggest things. So I only have bandwidth for my job and for my baby. And this is super hard because, as I talk about this, I remember, and it was difficult on me. Like, I was just putting so much pressure on me that it's like a pressure cooker, right? One, like, sooner or later you're gonna explode. And that's what happened to me. And it was difficult. Our I was going through a difficult time. Like I didn't realize that I was putting so much pressure on. And I think the moment that I exploded was right after having my second baby. Because so I got pregnant again with my second child when my first one was 2 years old. And so I hadn't fully mentally or physically recuperated from my first pregnancy, right? I only had bandwidth for my baby and my job. And I was going. And then I had a difficult pregnancy my second time around. But I was still working from home. They approved me working from home. And then with my second baby, I think that's when I realized that I couldn't like mentally or physically like do it anymore. Like I was like, and I think that's why I had such a difficult second pregnancy. I had a blood pressure problem. Like I would just sit here and work, and my blood pressure would just skyrocket, and I had to take a break, and it was just very very dramatic, and it was very difficult. And I think that's when I started realizing, hey, I need to take care of myself a little more. The panic attacks started, um, happening. Um, and I started having like one panic attack a month, which was a lot. Um, I've had panic attacks in the past at work. I work at a very stress driven job. And so, I just felt like I was like, myself was suffering a lot. And with my second baby, I realized, like I have bandwidth for my job, my first baby, and now there's a second baby. How am I going to have enough bandwidth for like this second child? Something's got to give, right? So I think that's where the panic attacks started happening, because my job just kept getting more complex and more stressful, right? Um, and I wasn't getting paid more. I was just kind of getting paid a similar amount, like maybe like an increase in inflation, maybe, but this whole time. And I was very thankful because I was like, I can work from home. Like, this is huge, right? But I think what I didn't notice then, I started to notice, like, as my second baby, as my kids started getting older and older, I started realizing, hey, like there is a tax that women pay, or I don't want to call it tax. There is a price that women pay because you want to be close to your kids, right? When they're growing up, especially when they're little. Like, again, I have a 4-year old and a 1-year old. Like, they need their mom, right? And I know that a lot of people don't have the opportunity to work from home. I understand that. But I'm talking about myself, right? I'm talking about me. And I'm talking about how I want to raise my children, because I'm raising my kids, right? Not people at work are not raising my kids. Like, family members are raising my kids. Like, it's really important for me and my husband. It's really important for them to have a parent close by. And so, and guess what that entails? That entails, you know, you have to like stop career growth, because if you want to grow your career, you have to be there and hear and connect and all these things that you have to do and network and so forth. And I realized, like, and I think I've come to a certain time in my life, right, that if you want to do this, in my case, right, in my case, I said to myself, if I want to do this, like I want to do all of these things, right? Like, I've always been very career driven. I've always wanted to do more. And now that I have two girls, it's been very, very important for me to um, set an example, right? We have two girls, and we have the opportunity to live in a country that allows women to do whatever they want, right? To own businesses, to grow up the ladder, like no tomorrow, like the sky's the limit. Like, you could become president if you want to. Like, so because we're so fortunate, and I am very career driven, and I said to myself, I want to do all these things. I want to network. I want to grow my profession. I want to do all these things. But hey, what if I do it for myself? What if I do it for my own business? Like, I'm killing myself at this job anyway, right? Why don't I do the same for me, right? So, That's how my journey started, right? And I think that mental change was huge for me. So if you work at a place that you love, and you don't change your mind after you work, after you have kids, then stay and enjoy and grow, and grow your career. Like, but here's the thing: after you have kids, your mind changes, the way you think changes. You know what? And if you want to, like, be a stay-home mom, do it. Why? Because your kids are going to be young only once. They grow. We're humans. We're kids one time, and then we grow and become adults, right? So you can always pick up a career. You could always run a business later. But the reason why I made the decision that I made is because I want to see my children. I want them to have a good foundation. They're like a business. It's so strange when I say it like this, but they're like a business. Like, you need a good foundation for them to be able to grow well, right? Um, so that's how I think. That's how I came to the conclusion of where I am. But if I could leave you with one thing, if you are full time a working person, employed person, or have a business, right? Whichever the case may be, like a working parent, if you're going to be a working parent, just know the situation is going to change drastically when you become a parent. And the decisions that you make that you make when you're a parent are completely legitimate and are completely good to make. And that's normal. It's normal that you change your mind. It's normal that you want to stay with your kids. It's like normal. Don't let anybody shame you to changing your mind. Stay your ground. Do what you want. Like, do what your gut tells you. If you want to leave your children with a grandma, with a grandpa, in daycare, so that you could keep going with your career, do that. But make sure it's your decision, right? Like, make sure it's your decision, because you cannot let anybody, even the closest person, even like your mom or your dad or your husband, make a decision for you. I mean, let me go back to that. You cannot let a parent or a sibling make that decision for you. You have to make a decision this as a family, like with your husband. Like, you guys need to decide, or with your spouse, right? If you're a working dad, like, and you don't feel comfortable leaving your child, but your wife wants to, then you work from home or you stay home. Like, these are things that you need to decide. And it's okay that you change completely. It's okay that you want to put a break on your career, right? It's everything is okay as long as you make that decision. So that is the one thing that I learned. We had to learn the hard way, that we had to go through ups and downs. But if I could leave you with something, that would be it. But anyways, that was me. That was a little bit of me. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for spending all this time. And yeah, talk to you next time. Bye bye.